What is good, Reptile guys? Ryan here. Today I bring you Reptile Room Full Tour 2023. Let's get rolling. Alright, so first one on the list. How about we start with the one behind me in all these videos that I usually start talking about that used to house my crested gecko Valerian, but now has my crested gecko Targaria. She's way nicer looking, so it'll be a fun one to start on. So up close and personal here, you can't see the gecko. That's because, well, crested geckos, they're a bit shy, nighttime and all, but the plants, they're pretty, so let's go over those. I have this large snake plant here. It's actually grown almost the length of the 2 by, or actually, you know what? This is a 24, 18 by 18 by 24. Yeah, so that's about 24 inches tall. You know, maybe a little more because it's starting to bend up there. But yeah, I have that, and then its neighbor, this green pothos here. The pothos is a weed. It is a weed. That thing grows and grows and grows. If you want a live plant tank, go pothos. This next one down here, I forgot what it's called. I think it's the bell pepper leaf or something. Don't quote me on that. I don't know what it is, but it's the one with the little red leaf that pops out and with the little hairy yellow finger. There's probably a weird science name for it, but it's one of those, and it's doing great. Actually, all 3 of these plants seem to be cohabiting pretty well. They're on the coconut fiber base for the substrate, but the plants actually have in them a whole fertilizer mix that's safe, and I've been researching for reptiles. But even if it wasn't safe, I've kind of layered, you can see the top of the substrate with this stagnant moss. That just kind of helps put a buffer zone between the gecko and the soil. Not that it helps much because the geckos still lay their eggs underneath it, and well, that's just lovely. You guys who breed crested geckos know the struggle is real. But yeah, for the furniture of this enclosure, we got this large, it's about 1.5 feet long piece of, I'm pretty sure it's walnut. It's a very robust piece of wood. Very robust. It's huge. It's massive. I had to buy that thing from Petco because I wanted to make sure it was reptile safe. I didn't have to like go the extra mile to sanitize it and all that jazz, which is not so fun. But anyway, that and this cork bark round next to it, the gecko never hides in there. I don't know why. It's an amazing piece, but the gecko never goes in there, ever. I have on top of it here, though, this climbing branch. That's actually something I found in the wilds of the great state of California. I had to bake that in an oven to get it to be not a contaminant, you know what I mean? So a little bit of extra mile on that one, but it was worth. Same thing with this coconut. Made that myself. Pop helped find me a drill bit that would make that nice circular cut there, and we just made a nice cave for the gecko. I do have geckos that use those, but again, the one in this tank just refuses, so let's get to her. She's a real treat. Targaria is, this is gonna be difficult, right there. Yep, appears like nothing, huh? I'm gonna attempt to capture her. This will be fun for you guys. because it's just a little skip. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Targaria. That was very much easy. No, not at all. That was sarcasm if you couldn't hear it in my voice. Yeah, so she was in the very back there, and I mean, well worth the capture. She didn't put much of struggle, so that was kind of her. But yeah, no, this is Targaria. So she's a juvenile or adolescent female crested gecko. She is what we would call a pinstripe, red pinstripe, extreme Harley, cream. I think I've covered it all. Oh, and crowned. Nice crests. Some people say that the crest structure of geckos that have their crests kind of pointing upward in an angle is bad looking. They prefer them to flop down like floppy ears. I personally just don't. I like them like this. It makes them look more like a crest. So it's a preference thing there, but definitely crowned and big prominent crests and flappy spiels there. But yeah, no, she's great. She's going to be a future breeder. She is not fired up right now. Honestly, I should pull up a picture for you guys, but she's way more red than this. When she is fired up, she almost looks like red velvet. I think this means she wants back in, guys. I really ought to, do her a solid. She's put up with me this long, so. But yeah, no, she's been doing great. Probably one of my most spendy breeding projects right now. So wish me luck with her. Yeah. Targaria in the 18 by 18 by 24. All right, now let's hit the rest of the crested geckos. No, not you yet. You wait your turn. So what we have here is the double-decker crested gecker contraption here, you know what I mean? Double-decker crested gecker with a little liquor, you know? So on bottom deck, we got the most large, in other words, the biggest crested gecko in my collection. This is Vermithor in a 30-gallon wide rectangular. He's doing phenomenal in here. You know, a lot of people say that the height is what crested geckos like, but I feel like if you have enough visual barriers and foliage and natural freaking stuff, you know, you'll be good. And the geckos are awesome and outstanding, and you don't have to deal with floppy tail syndrome because they don't sit like that. Thumbs up. So this is Vermithor. He's God knows how old, but very large. He is approaching 8 inches. For a crested gecko, that's pretty big. Cresties usually stay under 7, even for males. He's got those huge floppy crests, definitely a crowned, partial pinstripe, but yeah, a lot of underlying traits I'm trying to figure out. So he's what we would call an F1 crested gecko. Essentially wild type, but like first generation from the wild. So that does make him a little valuable. I wanted him in my breeding group just because there's a lot of desired traits that I feel have been lost due to line breeding with crested geckos and limited genetics in the small pool of cresteds we got from New Caledonia right after we thought they were extinct. So long story short, he's like Tarzan almost. But I named him Vermithor because, yeah, I have a trend with House of the Dragon dragons. Game of Thrones stuff, so. Except him. Griever. So, yeah, that's Vermithor in the 30-gallon. Next up is top deck. Over here, we actually have 2 cresteds cohabbing. This is, again, another 30-gallon rectangular. Lots of jungle, lots of foliage, 2 geckos in here. One's male, one's female. The male is a bit of an adolescent, just coming into his prime. So he's actually not breeding right now, which is great because it gives the female, who's a breeder and laying eggs currently, a break from constant harassment from, you know, the males and their shenanigans. So it works great. I've actually, you know, had them like this for 4 or 5 months now, and they've been, you know, great. No complaints, no fighting, zippy zap. So the plants I have going on in here, oh, I forgot about that one. I'll get to that. Plants in here are the pothos, again, you know, great, you know, like initial start off plant to throw in there just because it's so much room and, you know, visual barrier for them to hide in, like I was saying. These other three, I have no idea what they're called. This is that red bell leaf one that's back over there, but and here's this big broad-leafed one. It's great for the geckos to sit on. You can see Silverwing right there. She is totally just lounged on there. They love it. I have UVB on this one as well. I think they actually bask in it because they like it. So tip to all you guys breeding cresties, they like UVB. Down below is actually a laying box that she never uses. She just laid her last clutch this morning right underneath there. Not in there. In there. Like, I imagine he was just sitting there watching like, wow, what a waste of space. So, yeah, that's Valerian, by the way. He was moved from that tank to here because, you know, I didn't want him bugging Targaria while I was fattening her up, getting her ready for her next breeding season. For her first breeding season, I mean, next year. That'll be fun. So the plants on bottom deck, they're actually bromeliads, these two. Snake plant, succulent, assorted succulent, beads succulent, another assorted succulent, and then whatever this is. That purple plant is probably similar to this one, just different subspecies. And then I actually have the coconut in here as well, which he hides in sometimes, which is cool. But yeah, I think that covers the crusteds on this double-decker crested gecker with some lecker cabinet. Yeah, cool. Actually, I do have one more crested gecko, believe it or not, including the 2 eggs that I just mentioned. And those are in the closet. In the closet, well, most people have skeletons in theirs, but for me, it is lots of tarantulas. So, I guess I have to show those as well. And here we are. Ba-da-da-da. My walk-in spider closet. Spider, 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 spider. There's another spider in there somewhere. Yeah. And then eggs. Because what's a proper reptile room without eggs? And then lastly, crested gecker. Wherever it is. I guess I have to pull this one out too. Time lapse. Alrighty, this is a Zulon, or as my nephew calls him, Blue. Like from Jurassic Park. I thought a Zulon was cooler. Avatar and all. Anyway, this is a pretty much wild type crested gecko with highlights or fringing, I guess you could say. He's also lost his tail, so he's temporarily confined to the 12 by 12 by 18 that has no live plants in it. But he's a great pet. I'm just watching him temporarily for my nephew, whom actually keeps him. And back you go. I don't know what it is with crested geckos and no tails, but they're just way more likely to jump. I think they believe they're frogs. Moving on. Alright, alright, alright. So now we're moving on to the big boys. In here we have my juvenile female Colombian boa, or Colombian imperator, so otherwise BCI as an acronym. This is a heavily morphed animal. Repeat, heavily. just looking at that head, hopefully you guys can tell that she is albino. Now, she is T positive. Give me a second here. Yeah, VPI T positive albino. That's the type. There's a few different brands of albinoism or albinism. Hopefully I said that right. In boa constrictors, there's the Cal and the sharp lines. Mine is the VPI T positive. So this snake is a little bit darker than most albinos, and it's also going to retain more of its red coloration as it ages in comparison to these other types of albino. It's also a junglo, which means it has that jungle hypo sun glow in there. So there's a few different genes that are actually changing each other and working together to make this animal look the way it does. And then motley as well. So there's genetics just jam-packed in this girl. I'm going to try to get the light on her back there a little bit more so you can kind of see her in her glory. Her tail is just gorgeous. It's all red and pink. But that's her body for the most part. I wish she wasn't hiding. She's normally out right here on top of this stick. But yeah. So yeah, I got that coconut core and chip mixed together for the substrate. Water bowl, some sticks and loggage, fake foliage because it's easier maintenance, and snakes do tend to destroy stuff, just boas in general, but they're very nice. They just destroy stuff. So live plants are hard, guys. Keep that in mind. Next up, we have this tank, and this is another 50-gallon, same as hers. This is housing 2 juvenile boa constrictors at the moment. Now, before you guys jump down my throat, hold on. These snakes are actually raised together from the same breeder. Now, I, of course, didn't breed them, but this guy who sold them to me, he says that they are the genetic equivalent of cousins. So they're both hypoboas. One of them is het for blood. So I would think that's kind of like maybe second cousins, a couple times removed. However that works in snakes. You can kind of see Jasper's head there. He's just hiding. And then Delilah's in there as well. She's also hiding. Man, you guys are just making things easy on me today. All right, well, time jump. Alrighty, now I got them both pulled out. You can kind of see them in their glory. Oh, you were very alert. It's because she's hungry. This is what a snake looks like when it's hungry. Be cautious. Be very observant of their behavior because you don't want to get tagged. Then there's Jasper over there. So, as I was saying, they are very closely related. They're the closest of all my current boas, but they could breed. Now, the reason that I'm housing them together and they're not fighting is because they're so familiar with each other. You know, similar smell, similar locality, right? So similar husbandry requirements. I can temporarily get away with this. Although once they get to breeding age, I'm probably going to want to separate them just because if you house boas together like this their whole lives, they actually tend to not breed and reproduce. And I want to avoid that if possible. So this is just kind of a means thing. I do have another 50-gallon I'm prepared to set up. But again, cool thing about boas is they can cohab. They're very nice. Boa constrictors are live birth or live bearing snakes like vipers. So with other snakes, they tend to be more docile and more sociable. Less hostile. Yeah. They like each other more. How many other ways can I put this? Yeah, so communal snakes, they're cool. But yeah, this is Delilah, Jasper, and then Autumn. Hi, Autumn. Now, second to last, but not least, we're getting to you. Hold it. Is the alligator lizard. Now, who would I be? Ryan from the Reptile Guys without an alligator lizard. Well, I'd be a scrub. That's what I'd be. So this is Banshee. He is a southern alligator lizard, eastern alligator lizard hybrid, I believe, because he has this yellow coloration to him, which is very interesting. When I say eastern, it's referring to eastern Sonoran, so eastern part of the Sonoran Desert, not eastern U.S. These guys aren't over there. So this is the southern alligator lizard, eastern subspecies, whatever. It is relatively small. This is Banshee. This is actually really tame. I'm surprised he's not freaking out right now and running away. I've been slowly working on him, feeding him by hand, trying to get him as tame as possible. But yeah, very cute alligator lizard. Very small if you compare it to my hand. But as I always say in love, he's got that long, beautiful, original tail. Never dropped before. So long it's triple the size of the lizard. But yeah, he's a cool little guy. I'm going to try and get him to scurry around so you can see that color in that long tail. There you go. This is Banshee, all of his glory. Southern alligator lizard. Huh? Are you going to be... Oh, I guess that was it. Good boy. All right, finally, we've made it. The biggest and the baddest of them all. The true dragon. Griever. He really is a true dragon, though. He's a monitor lizard, the Aki's monitor, or spiny tail monitor lizard, related to the Komodo dragon. So he definitely has that... You have so much dirt in your nose, dude. Ugh. Have you been digging again? Yeah. So he's a little grievous dragon, I might add. That's hence his name, Griever, also from the Maze Runner. But yes, so this is a 5 foot by 2 foot by 3.5 foot box Aki monitor enclosure with this stand, because this is all made of particle board and it's very heavy. So yeah, thanks to the help of my father, we completed this grievous task. Haha, pun intended. And yeah, we've met the care requirements and show requirements that I felt necessary to showcase his entire enclosure for the first time on camera for you guys in this reptile room tour. But yeah, I've definitely gone all out. I could go more so because he deserves it. Just cuteness alone. But yeah. So he's got these cinder blocks, kind of making these towers for a platform. Basking spot. Lots of climbing sticks and branches that are all locked in place, which was very hard to do. It's like making a 3D puzzle, if you can imagine that. Then we have his water and his humid hide. Very required. Akis need water, and they need a humid hide. Required. Regardless of how much substrate and how deep it goes, even if it's deep. They still need that humid hide that has the plastic barrier to retain that moisture. That way they can bury themselves in the bottom, which he does quite a bit, and get that moisture on their scales so they can properly shed and get rid of dirt in his left nostril. What's wrong with you? Why do you do this? So he has his little hide back there that I've kind of made a tunnel with logs. And he loves to sleep in that at nighttime. And then during the day, he's mostly being rambunctious and then sleeping. It's kind of his routine. He loves to eat. Akis eat insects, predominantly. Also egg. I fed mine smoked salmon. I'm not saying that's something you should do. Note. But he really loves smoked salmon. He won't stop eating it. It's the only thing he won't stop eating. Anyway, moving on. I guess I'll just have to... Oh, he knows. Release the dragon. Kind of have to here. All right, we're going in head first. Hi, buddy. How's your day going? You're on. That's a camera. That's a camera. Chill. Come on. It's okay. Very nice. Just come to me. Come to Papa. Come on. You know the drill. Hey, you know the drill. Just. What are you gonna come on to me? You gonna climb my wrist? Whenever you're approaching monitors and you have the scent of other reptiles on you, make a fist. Because they love your little sausage fingers. It's just part of their nature and all. Hi, buddy. You are adorable. Look at you. So yeah, he's an adult male red Ackies monitor. They are known to get upwards of 3 feet. He is just 2 feet. So he has a ways to go. You're gonna fall. Well, I can't really get you on camera if you're back there. Wait, I have a mirror. Solutions, people. So this is Griever. Love him to death. He's a menace. He's a little Dennis the Menace. But yeah, probably my pride and joy. This guy's the pinnacle of reptile keeping. Oh! He jumped for the phone. Okay, well, that could have went badly. Ackies monitors. They're very vibrant and in color and personality. They love to move, love to explore, love to hunt, love to get into trouble. Yeah. But probably the best lizard you could ever get as far as lizards go. Like, the husbandry requirements are very low for monitors in particular because they're such a terrestrial and arid species. They actually don't need much humidity in the overall enclosure. You don't need a kiddie pool like some water monitor species. And they also eat bugs. They eat other stuff too, but bugs. It's great. They do need a hot basking spot. This has to be like 130, 140, 150 in there. Really hot. His basking spot. The point where he rests has to be that degrees in Fahrenheit because I'm an American. All right, moving on. The Ackies monitor. Varanus acantharus. Griever. Oh, that was nice. Little outro show. I wonder what he's thinking. He's probably like, food? Or, oh, maybe if I just sit here, he'll give me food. The mind of a lizard. Well, reptile guys, I think that wraps it up for today, but I think someone here has something he'd like to say before we go. Like, sub, and share! Ain't that right? Ain't that right, little buddy? Well, as he said, we'd both appreciate it if you would make the effort. It goes so far. Helps me keep these videos coming. And, well, keep your reptile hobbies going and keep those suckers fed because, man, they sure love it. Have a great rest of your afternoon or whatever time it is for you guys, and I will see you on the flip side.